morning and welcome back. It's still Daybreak Africa, reaching you here from our studios in London City. Of course, I'm Ezekiel, Ogar. 21st of March was said to be International Day where we talk about racial discrimination in Nigeria. And it turns out we have just so much to talk about, and we intend extending that period where we have a time with a journalist based in abroad as we discuss this particular topic in details. And with us via Skype is Theresa Okon, a student journalist, member of Society of Professional Journalists in the US. Good morning and welcome on Daybreak Africa, Theresa.
Good morning, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, we're glad to have you here. However, beginning this
discourse
today, first off, from the late Toni Morrison, an American novelist, she believes that there is no such thing as racism and it is only a social construct. Now, do you also believe this?
Yeah. To start with, I believe there is racial discrimination, not just in America or in Europe, but I believe that racial discrimination is worldwide. It's also practiced in Africa, where we come from. Like you see a particular ethnic groups restricting their fellows from interacting, having a social communication or relationship with one another. Then even in the Northerners back in Nigeria, you see the Northerners trying to put up a discrimination whereby other ethnic groups are not allowed into their society, into their workforce, even in their professional bodies. So overall, there is racial discrimination. And when we are talking about racial discrimination, it's not all about color. It's not because we believe that racial discrimination has to do with the black and the white. It's from the mind, and it's something that has already been there. It's something that our ancestors brought into our system, and it's actually eating us up till date. So there is racial discrimination.
Now, whilst we were talking the other day, I told you I don't wake up any other day, and then first thing that comes to my mind, or even the last thing that comes to my mind, is the color of my skin. I tend to wonder your experience over there. Have you had a challenge? What has been your experience, with this racial difficulty, or should I say challenge?
Yeah, before I came to US, there was this particular intervention that was brought into the system. They call it DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So they brought this into their system so that they could bring a social value for everyone. But when I got down here, in many occasions, I have been racially discriminated rather, sorry to say that. I remember sometime in the classroom, a professor paid us into a group, and I happened to be the only black person in the group. So along the line, I discovered that my colleagues were doing everything, because this was supposed to be a classwork that was meant to be assessed and recorded for our units. So I discovered that I was not carried along. Even from at the beginning, I was asked to bring in my inputs. I brought in my inputs, and it was not included. And before you know it, I discovered that these people have gone ahead, do everything, and submitted the assignments without my consent. I was mad at them. I reached out. I was like, "This is supposed to be my grade. This is supposed to be my assignment. This is my own career we are talking about here." So, and we were assumed and paid into a group for us to work together, regardless of whatever race you are. So why are you now putting me away, trying to do everything? And they were trying to tell me, yeah, but even though whatever records will come afterwards, it's going to cover you. I said, no, that is not it. What I mean is that I should be involved. I should be included. Here in the system, we are talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and you are excluding me out. I tried to reach out to the professor, talk to the professor who was in charge of this, I sent an email because in America, the only formal communication you can send to your professor, it's through an email. So I reached out to the professor. I spoke with him. I sent an email putting down my concerns. And do you believe that till date, that has not been addressed? So I believe that the professor too is also being racially, is also a racist. Let me put it that way. Even though they don't want you to sound, or they don't want you to perceive them as a racist, but this thing comes from the mind. So there is no how you are going to hide. So in several ways, I have been a victim. I know how it feels.
I tend to wonder. I know for every state and for every institution, organization, there's always rules, regulation as regarding the racism challenge. I tend to wonder: is it that it's not enforced over there, or is it more like rules and regulation just on papers and no punishment attached?
Yeah. For the punishment, when it comes to this racial discrimination and judgment, the way a black race is being judged, the judgment that comes upon a black race for every offense committed is actually different compared to how it's been done to the opposite. Let's say, so let's say the judgment is not for all, even though they seem to practice DI. You understand? Like, it's not for all. If a black man commits a crime now, it's like a death sentence. But if a white man commits a crime, it's going to be scrutinized. There is time. They want to do a follow-up. They want to get some footage. You understand? To gather all their evidence. But a black man is already, a black man is already justified. Whatever you do, yes, so far you are a black race. So when they say judgment is not for all. The way opposite race is being judged is actually different from the way we are being judged and seen even in the society.
Is it more like a challenge you face just in the institution you're at, or more like a nationwide thing?
Yeah, for institution, the university try, you understand, as much as possible not to portray themselves as racist. They try as much as possible to eradicate this in the school system. But even though they have done a lot of things, it is still there, because this thing, it's in the blood. Like I said, it's from the mind. Is like, for instance, you have a child, and you have this thing, you have a disgust for a particular ethnic group. So when you birth a child, from the beginning, you try to tell this your child as from the teenage age, don't associate with these people from this particular ethnic group, because they are this and that. So now when you do this, you are putting in this information in the mind of this child. And as this child is growing up, she or he is also growing up with the information that you have put into the system, you have put into the child. So now this become a bloodline, not just a society. So the whites, from already, we know the history of racism, we know how it came about. We are already, the Africans, the blacks are already seen as a slave till date. In as much as we have tried to fight, we are still seen we still have that slavery trait in us, in their mind, not in our own mind, in their mind. They see us as a threat to their society, because this information was being imbibed inside of them. They grew up with it. They grew up with it for the black race. They want to pick up from where their ancestors left off. So this is a general thing. I'm generalizing it. It's a general thing.
Well, as regards health, from some statistics, it said black mothers in the United States die at 3 to 4 times the rate of white mothers. So this also implies to the health sector.
To the health sector, I would say no. I would say no. Not saying no is that fine. We know that they're after people's life. When it comes to life is paramount here. And if you are sick, definitely here in America, it means you are bringing in money. So there is no how you are going to be seen otherwise in health sector. But when it comes to the health workforce, it's a different thing. The racism is there. In the health workforce, you see a thing that in a particular health workforce, you see a particular organization, a particular workforce being dominated by the whites, and you will see no single black in there. But that does not mean that if you are sick, you'll not be taken care of. I have been sick many times. I've gone to the hospital. I've been to school center, school clinic. I've been to the pharmacy, and I was treated equally because I have an insurance that covers. I am insured. So insurance has nothing to do with the rest. Bring in your money. You understand? They are after the money, and that's all.
Now, I think to actually wonder at this point, we have we have the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. We have the Black Lives Matter movement going on, amongst other regulations and punishments attached to failures, in every sector, generally. I now tend to wonder exactly how has this advancement been going so far? From the International Day to the Black Lives Matter movement, hasn't there been certain advancement so far? Is it more like it has been where it was since the beginning of time?
Yeah, there have been an improvement so far. I thank God for the likes of Chimamanda Adichie, our writer from Nigeria, which we all know. Then for the likes of this one, Viola Davis, an American activist on racial discrimination, and even also Elizabeth Lieber. So these people are working, they are advocates for racial discrimination, and with their input in the society, it has really brought about a whole lot of change. I have seen changes because before, in the school system, we used to see where the whites will harass a fellow black student. But so far, I've not seen that. I mean, physically, when I'm saying harass, I mean physically harassed and abused. But so far, I've not seen that. So, with the help of other advocates for racial discrimination, I have seen a whole lot of change so far. I've seen a whole lot of change. Black lives, like the Black Lives Matters, I have seen that the blacks are also given an opportunity to put up their voices to the society. We have also been given an opportunity to be included, even in our legislatures, executive. I've seen some blacks there, so I think there's an improvement.
And how draining this could be, especially for immigrants who go to all these European countries, just like yourself. So, how draining has this been? What's more like the impact on migrants so far? How do they manage to survive and go through all these hurdles?
First and foremost, racial discrimination comes with mental unrest. There is not how you'll be in a particular environment and you know that you are abused racially, physically. It has an impact in your mental health. That's the first thing. You feel that if you go out there, you are not safe. What will happen? You understand? Like you feel, you are not secured. You don't have any protective measures around you, something that could help. So far with this racial discrimination, it has brought about mental unrest in the minds of the immigrants. And when immigrants come in, the first thing they want to know the system, they want to socialize. And when you come, though in America, I like America for one thing, that even as an immigrant, there is love. Yeah, they tend to look out for the immigrants. I mean the legally immigrants. I'm not talking about those that come in an illegal way. But when they know that you are like immigrants like me, that is coming into the I came in to study. I've seen love from the white folks when they know that this is your first time in America and you are here to secure your education. So you see their arms being widely open to embrace you into the system. So, but in a case where it's an opposite, definitely, if you are in a system whereby you are not accepted, you are not going to feel safe and secured. It will cause a mental damage. It could cause depression and anxiety. So to me, I would advise that whoever wants to come into any country, be it America, Europe, you should go through the right way, the right path, so that you will be respected and recognized in wherever you are.
Typically, Africans are proud people. I tend to wonder the attacks they tend to get. Do you think this will tend to affect one's faith in our culture? You know, basically an entire identity of the person, not just probably mental. You know, where you just lose faith in your culture, where you come from. You know, your origin and all that. Do you think it really tends to affect that part too?
For culture, I don't think so, because even here, so many states in America, there is a particular, they used to set aside a day to celebrate one's culture wherever you come from. So yeah, there is a particular, like even in my school, there is a day we have cultural day. So you see people from the India region, Africa region, Asia. So everyone will be dressed. They come out with their food. They come out with everything that identifies them. So this place is culturally unified. So they love it. They love people from they are people that respect cultures. They don't put boundaries to it. So that's one thing I give it to them. So I don't think that could affect, or it could be a limitation, or that could even like kill our culture wherever you are. So I don't believe that.
So away from racism at this point, what other challenges do our fellow brothers and sisters tend to actually face in diaspora?
The challenge is for the racism part, the
Away from
challenge.
racism. Away from racism.
Okay, away from racism. First, coming in to a different world entirely, it's not going to be like home. It's actually going to be different, because the things you have at home, just at your beck and call, it's not so. So first you have to adjust. The first challenge you are going to meet in diaspora when you travel is the weather condition. You can't run away from it. In this particular state where I am, there are some days in the morning we will have the winter session in the morning. Like we could have a breezy weather. Afternoon, you could have spring, like a shower, rain. In the evening, you could have summer. You see sunshine. So like the weather fluctuates. And my own first challenge, I remember when I came in the very first time, I felt, being I saw I was opportune to see a sunshine for the first time. So I was dressed. I did not know that much later, in few hours to come, the weather is going to change drastically. I had no idea about that. So but I just felt, the weather was okay. I saw a sunshine. It was okay for me to go out. So after like 1 hour, the weather just changed from 15 degrees to 9 degrees. And I was feeling cold. And their cold is actually different from our cold. I mean cold that we have during rain. Their own cold will freeze your blood. you feel like nothing is actually moving. So that's the number one challenge. Then you have challenge when it comes to African meals, because you are not going to have it like anytime you need it. Unfortunately, if you are in a state whereby you have none, what will you do? You have to adjust. So those are the challenges. Aside the racism, those are the challenges. The weather, most important thing. So anybody that is coming in must be well prepared. And you must make sure that you kit up. Make sure that you are well kitted whenever you go out, and you have to explore your weather app to see, okay, if I'm leaving the house at 8 a.m., I'm returning at 5 p.m. So you have to check the weather. As at the time you are returning, will the weather be favorable? So whatever you are putting on, however you are dressed, you know that you are getting dressed and ready for all the weathers. As it's going to change, you know that you are covered and well covered.
Now, while conversing, at some point you made mention of the fact where you said judgment for the black is different from judgment for the white, even though it's probably the same crime. And at some point you made mention of the fact where you said people over there tend to welcome you with an open arm, based on the fact, you're an immigrant, legal immigrant, or that. So I tend to wonder, is it more like the people you tend to actually meet tend to treat you differently, based on perspective and how they see things, or is it just more like generally there is just this normal hatred for the black?
There are people that hate the black. There are people that love the black. It's just like you in Nigeria. You love afang soup. Let me put afang soup. And there is a particular meal you are not going to like it. Probably you may not like ewedu. You understand? So there is another person that could come from Calabar that does not like afang but prefers ewedu. Do you get? So what I'm trying to say is that this is not for everybody. If you are coming in legally, there are people that love blacks. There are people that when I speak, they'll say, "Oh, wow, I love your accent." You understand? So now when we are talking about blacks, there is different blacks. So let me put it to you. We have black Americans and we have blacks. So most of the times when I'm talking to some of my friends here, we try to be like, there should be a difference, like a demarcation between like African as a whole and black Americans. Because these black Americans, most of them, they will tell you they are not from Africa. You understand? But we know every black American, if they want to trace back their origin, it's from the Africa. But they will tell you they are not Africans, they are an Americans. So these are the people that seems to have problem. But we that are immigrants, they know us from our accents, the way we speak. We cannot hide from that. So now, what I'm trying to say in essence is that the way they embrace us, if you are coming in as a student, they know that you are a student. This place is different from home, so you are not going to have everything. But that still at that, there are people that will still not like you because they feel that you as a black person coming in, you are coming in to take over every opportunity from them. We are known for our strengths. We are known for our prowess. We are known for our for our enormous abilities. We are known for all of that. So when we are coming into the system, there's most of those people that hate black, they see us as a threat, that we are coming in to steal their resources, steal their job opportunities, take everything from them. So there are people that will still love us because they know that as we are coming in, we are assets. We are coming in with something. We are coming in with something that is advantage to their own advantage and also to their community.
Would you rather discourage exodus, based on the challenges you tend to see, or would you just rather classify the challenges as just the normal challenges one could face,
It's not, when it comes to racial discrimination, it's not a normal challenge. It can never be a normal challenge. Anything that has an impact, that influences your mental health negatively, it's not a normal challenge.
Now, with that experience, would you actually discourage any form of exodus?
Yeah, like to me, I don't encourage this. I don't. I can never encourage racism because I know how it feels. I've been there. So until you are in this shoe, that is when you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to know how it feels. So I've been there. I know how it feels. I try to, even here, I try to fit in. I try to to fit into them, try to like have the same opportunity. There are some things that they will tell you this is scholarship for the whites. A black person are not permitted to apply. You understand? So this is just for the citizen. You are not permitted to apply. And in general, the international students, we are the brain box of their educational system. We are
Obviously.
bringing in a lot of resources. We are bringing in a lot of things that will help shape their system. But you still see that we are not allowed to do some certain things here. There are some things we cannot do. There are some funds that they will give to the whites that a black person had no access to. You cannot apply. There are some society that once they see that you are black, you will not be allowed in. So it cannot be a normal challenge for anybody because this has a different and negative influence on our mental health. Definitely it's going to make you feel unrest. You are not going to feel normal as a normal person.
So
All right.
on this basis, you will prefer people not coming over to the United States based on this challenge?
I can't say that I am going to prevent. Everybody has their purpose. Everybody have their focus in life.
But really, you're
Everybody
making it sound it's more like an adventure for just the strong. You know, if you're not really mentally
Yeah,
strong,
you have
you
to be
can't really
prepared.
afford.
You have to be well prepared. There are people that are here for years and they've not faced this. They have not had any encounter with a racist. That's to their own luck and grace. So but so far you are coming in, it's a 50-50. You could either be a victim or you could live a normal life, but just be prepared. Know that where you are going to is away from home. It's either you are accepted or you are rejected. So what will you do if you are rejected? You could only be socially rejected, but you have to know that this should not have influence on your personal health. It should not stop you from going to wherever you are going to. It should not be a limitation to your path. Whatever you are doing, whatever is your aim, whatever is your goals and objective, that should not be a limitation. So you should try as much as possible to keep going and not see it as a distraction. So I can't prevent people from coming in. So far you are purpose and goal driven, go ahead, definitely.
All right. Before we got here, you earlier stated that discrimination happens even in our country, even in the black countries, amongst us brothers and sisters, and
Yeah.
also outside. However, with the efforts put so far by different bodies to see that this discrimination be cut down almost totally, how far do you think it will take for us to get to probably a bearable point where we could say discrimination is almost not in the society?
Okay. Talking about Nigeria, yeah. I've not seen any effort so far. There is nothing like DI. Because when we are talking about inclusivity, it should start from home. It should start from us. So until we learn to see everyone from diverse ethnic backgrounds as one, we are not going to grow. So far, there is nothing like diversity, equity, or inclusion in Nigeria. I've not seen so far because when we are talking about let's take our mind back to the northerners, the educational system, the educational workforce in the northern part. You will not see, let me not say you will not see, but based on statistics, 95% of lecturers in Nigerian universities at the northern part of Nigeria are from the northern part. They are the northerners. 95%. So once you apply and they see that you are not a northerner, you are not going to be approved. You apply and you are being seen as a Christian, not as a Muslim, you are not going to be approved. So with this, what do we call this? This is also racial discrimination. It's not all about the color. These are, like I call it, stereotypes. So until we Nigerian, because this thing is not something for one person, it should be a collaborative voices. Let everyone's hand be on deck. Let everyone come together and fight this. Because when we are able to eradicate this from our system, starting from us, the black, where this originated from, we will not have growth until we all come together to put our hands and our voices to fight this and make sure that this is eradicated from our system, whereby it's actually the main parts where this racism originated from. So until we all learn to work and put on our voices to fight this racial discrimination in Nigeria as a whole, in Africa also. So I don't think we are going to have a growth. I don't think this is going to be eradicated from our system.
Thank you so much, Theresa Okon, for joining us on this episode of Daybreak Africa.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was Theresa Okon, student journalist, member of Society of Professional Journalists in the United States. And this is where we'll be ending the program Daybreak Africa today. Till we come your way again, I remain Angela Daku.
And I remain Ezekiel Ogar.
Thank you so much.